You're on mute.
I'm on mute, but they can still hear you.
What?
New Day Rocks!
What? Okay, welcome everybody to Unexpected Wrestling. We are a week away from WrestleMania, and we are going to give you our WrestleMania predictions during this show today. I'm super excited. We got Mr. Chonk here. What's going on, Mr. Chonk? How's the Scott Steiner doll working out for you?
Very good. I had a pretty good week. I met a friend of mine in Nantucket. I had three words for him, and he told me to go suck it.
Yeah, we might have a little poem about that later. You know what I watched last night? I wasn't even aware that this was a thing, but I saw it on the Cock, as in Peacock, NBC Peacock. They had a special documentary done about WrestleMania 9. If anyone remembers WrestleMania 9, that was the first outdoor WrestleMania in Las Vegas, Caesar's Palace. So I guess it is fitting they did it this year to do the documentary. A lot of behind-the-scenes footage. Very controversial WrestleMania. Some people still to this day say it is the worst WrestleMania of all time. This is the one where the main event was Bret Hart versus Yokozuna. Yokozuna ended up beating Bret Hart for the title. A couple months before that, Bret Hart won the title from Ric Flair. And then after Yokozuna won the title, Mr. Fuji, Yokozuna's manager, called out Hulk Hogan and challenged him to a match right then and there. And Hulk Hogan ended up winning the belt within, I think it was like I think it was a minute and 30 seconds or something like that. And the fans in attendance were happy, but the fans at home watching it on pay-per-view were not. And a lot of people say that Hulk Hogan screwed over Bret Hart, used his political power to make himself leave as champion, even though he wasn't technically even in the championship match. What were your thoughts? Do you remember that show, Mr. Chunk? I know back then
a little bit.
You were a WCW fan of all things.
Yeah, and I would say I was maybe a little bit young to have watched that even live or within a day or so.
I watched it on VHS
9,
tape.
WrestleMania 9, I would have been like 8 years old, dude.
You know what? Here's a funny story about WrestleMania 9 for me. So my cousin, I'm not going to say his name, but my cousin actually, he was a bad kid. And he knew how to use the phone back then, and he ordered the pay-per-view without my aunt and uncle's permission, and he recorded it on a recordable VHS tape, and he let me have it afterwards. And so that's how I ended up watching it. I watched it like a couple days after.
I watched it a few years later. That was before I even watched any wrestling at all. I was a little young.
Honestly, there wasn't really that many good matches on this show.
No, it wasn't great.
What was it? Lex Luger took on Mr. Perfect. This is when Lex Luger was a bad guy. Shawn Michaels took on Tanaka, the Native American. I forget what his name was, but there wasn't really many good matches. In fact, the Undertaker's worst WrestleMania appearance happened at that show against the Giant Gonzalez.
Yes.
So there's some fun facts for you. But it was interesting hearing the behind the scenes story. They kind of clarified a little bit. If you guys remember, Hulk Hogan showed up to that event with a black eye. He claims there was a water skiing accident. A lot of people backstage claim it was because Randy Savage punched him in the face. And I wouldn't say that the documentary cleared it up, but it sounds like more people are on the side of Randy Savage punched him than they are of there was a water skiing accident. So take that for what you will. Let's get right into the Raw discussion here. To be quite honest with you, I thought Raw was a little bit lacking this week. And I don't even have as many key points as I do for SmackDown for this. One good thing with Raw, though, is they did kind of clarify certain things that were kind of up in the air. So they're moving in the right direction here. The first thing I have on the Raw discussion list here is that the Triple Threat Women's match was made official. It is going to be a Triple Threat match now. And the one thing that popped out to me in this segment were the fans were booing Bianca Belair. I'm not sure if that was intentional or if it was just that particular crowd, but they were not happy with Bianca for whatever reason.
In fact, I feel like they were a little bit behind Io Sky. I got that sense that they were behind her a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think they felt bad that she's getting kind of treated as a third wheel in this triple threat match.
I'll give WWE some credit here. Masterful work on getting Io Sky into this match without it looking like she's being forced. I think they made the right choice by making her win the title, because if they would have tried to push her in this match without the title, it would have felt forced.
Felt forced, yes.
So
100% agree.
They purposely put themselves in a position where she had the championship, so she had to be in the match. It was a smart move. It was a smart move by them, because it wouldn't have looked good if they tried to... Because I think people are looking forward to a Rhea and Bianca Belair match. We're not getting it at WrestleMania. They're adding Io Sky to the mix. I'm not opposed to that. I think it's still going to be a good match, and I think maybe at SummerSlam we can get Rhea and Bianca one-on-one. But this was a creative way that they could get more people into a match, meaning more stars on the show. It was a good move, I think.
I agree.
Looking forward to the match. We're going to have our predictions for the WrestleMania matches later, so I'm not going to go into detail about how I think that match will actually go yet. We'll do that later on in the show. Overall, Io Sky did get the upper hand in this segment, which I think I called that weeks ago, that they were just going to kind of trade. 1 week Rhea's going to get the upper hand, 1 week Bianca's going to get the other hand. This week it was Io, and then we still got next week. We still got tomorrow, Monday, so I'm sure that they're going to evolve this storyline even more. Maybe it'll just be all out bedlam, and they'll just beat the hell out of everybody. So who knows? But yeah, this is one of the matches I'm looking forward to on the WrestleMania card. There's some that I'm not. And in fact, we're going to kind of move into
this is where we're going to be divided.
Yeah, we're going to move into one of those right here. Jey Uso and Gunther. And I'm sorry, right now, I know Mr. Trunk doesn't agree with me. I'm going to have to roast this a little bit. I wrote Jey Uso and Gunther. I said, trash this feud and burn it. The promos suck, and my interest is at an all-time low. This week did nothing for me. Like, I understand what they're trying to do. Jey
was a little odd.
Jey Uso's trying to get emotional. He's trying to cut a promo. He's trying to get the fans emotionally invested, and some are. There are Jey Uso fans out there. I just happen to not be one of them. And I challenged WWE in my little bubble. I challenged them to make me interested in this match, because I knew right away I wasn't going to be. And they failed that challenge. They have not got me interested in this match. They didn't do it. And that sucks, because this is a title match. This is the Royal Rumble winner. This is a featured match on the card that this is, not only am I not interested, this is the one match I'm interested in the least out of almost all.
Okay, I'm not that far. So I don't entirely disagree with you, but I would say that not this past Monday, but the Monday before that, I got slightly invested in the match.
With
slightly.
the Jimmy Uso
Beat down. Slightly invested. I'm not saying I'm at an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm at like a 5 or a 6. I was at a 6. This past week confused the shit out of me. And I'm at a 5 now. So I'm like, I could take it or leave it. And it all depends on the quality of the match. And it depends on where they go after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm not doing a prediction now. I do have a prediction later.
No, not about who wins, but like, you know, what happens to Jey Uso's character.
Yeah.
And I have some theories there.
Yeah, I'll be 100% honest. If I need to take a shit during WrestleMania, this is going to be the match I do it on. This is the one that I'm not interested in. I'm really not. Hopefully they can time it accordingly. So a match like this, just off my personal preference, like I think maybe this could be a 15-minute match. I wouldn't go 20 to 30 minutes with this one. I'm going to hope. I'm going to have a glimmer of hope that WWE is going to surprise me here. And they're going to add something to this match the day of or during the match that's going to get me interested. Make it a no DQ. Make it some sort of street fight. Do something in this match. Now, I have been surprised at WrestleMania matches before. One of them being Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. That match was entertaining as hell to me, and I wasn't expecting it to be.
I had low expectations for that one, too.
So I have very low expectations for this. I'm hoping that they could surprise me again and get me invested during this match. I've given up hope that they're going to get me invested before the match. If they can get me invested during, I'll give them all the credit they need. I don't know which day this match is going to be on. If it's on Saturday, we'll be doing a show Saturday. Okay, so then Sunday I will eat my words if they can get me emotionally invested in this match on Saturday night. But as of right now, I could care less. I really could. I love Gunther. Not really into Jey Uso. I see what they're doing. I understand he sells merchandise. I'm all for that, but I'm just not interested in that feud. Anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Chunk?
I would say, short of making a prediction, notice, and I don't know if they were experimenting with this, there really wasn't a lot of yeeting happening during that promo.
Yeah.
And he was dressed in all black. And
yeah, he was trying to do it serious. I understand what they were trying to do.
Not only serious, but usually that sends a signal of things to come. But we'll talk about that more later.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to my next little comment here. So we had a tag team title match between the New Day and the War Raiders. And it ended up being a nothing burger, I believe. Did that match end on a DQ or something?
Yeah, and I think that they set up for a WrestleMania match now.
Yes, it is actually an official WrestleMania match. My biggest thing here is they had that comedian. I forget his name.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
Tony Heathcliff was on commentary, and he was a drizzling shits. Like, he didn't even know what to call the title belts. Michael Cole had to be like,
his jokes were horrible dad jokes.
Yeah, so
my jokes are better than his.
Here's the deal with him. Clearly, he's not a wrestling fan. He doesn't know the stories. He doesn't know who these people are.
He's being paid to roast WrestleMania.
Yeah, he's
getting a paycheck.
He's basically going to be like the roast of WrestleMania. I think it's happening after WrestleMania on Sunday. It's not going to be televised, which I'm kind of upset about. We've talked about that already.
I'm not upset, judging after the material he laid out on Monday.
Yeah.
I hope he's holding back.
So with the roast of WrestleMania, though, he's not going to be the star of that. He's just the host. He's like the Ryan Seacrest, and they're going to bring up people and have them roast each other. Okay. I think that would be interesting to see. But he did not impress me at all. Clearly not a WWE fan. He doesn't know anybody. He was fed his lines, and he wasn't even reading them well. So that was kind of the drizzling shits.
It was so bad it took away from the tag team match.
Yeah, it was distracting at how horrible it was. It was really bad. That was like AEW level of shitty, to be honest with you. And then we had, what was it? Dominic Mysterio versus Penta and Penta ended up scoring the victory there. And then what happened after the match, I thought was the most interesting.
Yes.
There
R.I.P.
was
Carlito. I
yes,
feel so
Carlito
bad.
basically got what I think Pat McAfee labeled as the super spear. And to be quite honest with you, so Braun Breaker, he's known for running at like, I think he's set like records on how fast this guy can move. Now imagine he's running full speed and then doing a shoulder charge at you, all like leaving his feet like. What he did to Carlito, I wouldn't technically consider a spear because he didn't like grab him around his waist and like nail him to the ground. He more like launched into the air and just pretty much shoulder charged him into his chest.
Yes.
And it had the same impact, let's say that. But
let's just say our thoughts and prayers are with Carlito and his family at this point.
I wouldn't say
even
the
though he's
Carlito,
not injured.
Yeah, the Carlito one didn't look as bad as the I Show Speed, but it was pretty close.
Carlito sold it very well.
Well, yeah, fortunately, Carlito's a trained professional, so he knew how to take it. I Show Speed didn't know how to take the move, so his looked a lot more painful than it probably was. But yeah, that was the breakout moment of that match, even though it was the afterbirth after the match. Very fun to see. And I think we have a fatal four-way for the Intercontinental title. Breaker, Penta, Dominic, and Finn. I wish they could have fit Kaiser in there, but it is what it is, I guess. And then, I mean, the last thing I'm going to talk about is the Seth Rollins-Paul Heyman segment here on Raw. And this was... I don't know if this was main event worthy. I understand why it was the main event because it kind of left you on a cliffhanger. It feels to me like they saw that everything pivoted. Like at first, this whole story was more about Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and CM Punk was kind of just intervened into the mix. But now with CM Punk in his favors and getting Paul Heyman on his side. It
felt like Seth Rollins was the third wheel for a while.
And now I think they're trying to do a little bit of repair and trying to get Seth Rollins back involved in it a little better. And this is kind of a weird way to kind of a weird way to me to do it. Do you have a vibrator in your pocket or something, dude? What's the noise?
Yeah, I'm happy to see you. Yeah.
What are your thoughts
I have a certain prediction, and we'll have to save it for the WrestleMania predictions.
Yeah, save that.
I have a dark horse prediction there.
No. Well, you like them dark. But anyways, what ended up happening in the segment, Rollins was kind of antagonizing Heyman a little bit, pushing him around. Heyman kind of stood up to Rollins, which I thought was kind of funny. He was like, "Don't put your hands on me again." And then basically, eventually, CM Punk came out and intervened. There was a brawl between him and Rollins. Ended up with Rollins being able to capture this curb stomp on CM Punk. And then Paul Heyman was down on his knees at CM Punk's side. And Rollins kind of went for the curb stomp on Heyman, stopped midway, and said, "Now you owe me a favor." And Raw went off the air. Creative way to get him back involved in the story. We're going to be talking about where we see that going.
Maybe he was involved all along.
Yeah, we'll talk about where we see the story going. But yeah, that's how Raw went off the air. I wouldn't say it was a bad episode of Raw. It just seems like they are full speed ahead to WrestleMania. They're not taking any chances. They're not really giving us any big money matchups right now because they were making sure everyone's safe and healthy for the main show coming up. So unfortunately, this coming week, we might have more of that. Although, one of the positives with it being WrestleMania week starting tomorrow is we got the main players that are going to be involved. So Cena is going to be on Raw. He's also going to be on SmackDown. He's just been announced today to be on SmackDown also.
I think Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins are all advertised.
So we are going to get the full set of cast of characters here. So even though we might not get the money main event matches, we're going to get the big money people here. Edward says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Great job. But Ed, you need a beard also." I've just been lazy and haven't shaved. I don't know if Mr. Chonk is able to grow a beard as quickly as I can. I don't know. I've never seen Mr. Chonk grow a beard, to be honest.
I had a goatee. I had a goatee a long time ago.
Yes, I remember that.
I don't do a mustache. Mustache is itchy.
I remember Mr. Chonk used to have a goofy haircut in high school, and one of the teachers used to always make fun of him about it. He'd be like,
that is true.
Like, didn't I tell you to knock that off? It was pretty funny. Let's move on from Raw and go into some wrestling news and headlines, if you want to call some of this stuff wrestling news. One of the first things I want to bring up here, let me find it first. So, AEW had a pay-per-view last weekend. We're not going to get too far into it. Yeah, I mean...
They still around?
Yeah, nobody's even talking about it because it was so freaking lame. Basically, nothing really happened there. Oh, I think the dumb fucks or the young bucks, they came back.
Yes.
Pretty much, I saw a picture of Swerve Strickland. It looked like he was holding on to a particular body part on each of them, but apparently they had his hands, one young buck per hand, and then they did their little what the hell do they call that move where they just knee him in the face together? I forget, but yeah, apparently they came back and they tried to make a big thing out of it. Pardon me for 1 second.
There
here.
once was a man.
No. Let me full screen this. So the first thing I want to talk about here is here, Mr. Trunk. I'm gonna have to share the screen with you real quick. The press conference after AEW Dynasty. Even though we're not really talking about AEW Dynasty, I'm still going to talk about something that happened at the press conference here. This is something like this is part of the reason why we don't talk about AEW anymore. So after these AEW shows, they have press conferences, kind of like WWE does. I think AEW kind of started doing this more before WWE did. WWE would do the press conferences like at big events like WrestleManias and stuff. AEW did them after every single pay-per-view, and now WWE is kind of doing that too. So at the AEW ones, it seems like even Tony Khan himself, who you see in the video here, it seems like they're kind of buzzed. And they're just kind of like just winging it. A lot of times they're out of character, and they're just kind of goofing around. And so Toni Storm comes up there and talks about her big match that she had. I forget who she beat, but she won. And basically, you could tell she's like hungover or something. And basically comes up to the stage and says like she doesn't want to talk about the match, and that she'll take a few questions and then she's going to walk off. That's literally what she said. And before she even started taking questions, she decided that she wanted to read a poem really quick. And this is a clip that we have here. I want to get Mr. Chonk's thoughts on this this poem here. So let's play it really quick. Whoops. Let's play it right now.
There once was a man from Nantucket whose cock was so big he could suck it. He said with a grin, wiping jizz from his chin, if my ear were a pussy, I'd fuck it.
Okay.
And now, any questions?
There we go. So that was the extent of Toni Storm with what she wanted to share during the press conference. Mr. Chonk, let's say that Unexpected Wrestling went to AEW Dynasty. It was in Philly. I mean, it could have been possible, and we got press passes. Like, we were there, we got the press passes, we got to watch the event, and then we were invited to the press conference afterwards. Would you feel like we would fit in if they opened the press conference with something like that? Like, we're sitting there, we have our questions.
I'd probably fit in.
Yeah, we have our questions ready for Toni Storm, and instead of taking questions right away, she wants to read a poem talking about disgusting bodily fluids and private parts, and yeah.
Look, part of me finds it funny, but I'll tell you what, they just alienated a portion of their audience because what respecting parents would let their kids watch that.
Exactly. Now, to be fair, the press conference was probably at like midnight, and it was on a Sunday, and it was on the internet. It wasn't like on TV, so they could kind of say whatever they want.
Was it on YouTube? Is it live
Yes,
on
it was
YouTube?
live streamed on YouTube. Yes.
Is it currently on YouTube uncensored?
Yeah, the entire press conference is, yeah. Yes.
Right now, today.
Yeah.
Like they haven't censored. Yeah,
No, they
that's
didn't censor
dumb.
any of that.
That's dumb.
No,
That's
they just let it
dumb.
go. And then not only
Yeah.
that, they had the AEW feed, and then a lot of the press people there also have
Yeah.
a feed of it. Edward in the YouTube chat says, "Sorry, Chonk, maybe pork chop sideburns." So, like, what we just saw there is part of the reason why, like, I can't take AEW seriously. Like, they just have to make a joke out of everything. And
There is good news out of that, though.
what's that?
She was a lot funnier than Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yes. Okay. I give her that. I give her that. Although she did have to read it off a piece of paper. But
I wonder who wrote that.
if you really want to know, it's that RJ City guy. If you ever see him on AEW, he's like one of the backstage interviewers. That's the person that writes that kind of shit for them. And yeah. So that's like, so I think like people that have had started watching wrestling in like, let's say 2010, like they might be like kind of excited for AEW. They might like AEW and this kind of stuff because like they aren't groomed as like a classic wrestling fan, like somebody like me, somebody like Mr. Chonk, people that have been watching wrestling for decades. And like we remember 90s wrestling where like something like that would have never happened. If that happened in WWF in the 90s, everybody in that room would have been fired because you just can't break kayfabe. Kayfabe meaning being in on it, like being in on the production, being in on the script, if you want to call it a script. Like you can't just break a character like that just
Even if it was
silly.
Even if it was actually scripted, the network hosts would have canceled them in 5 seconds. For as
even
off
if
the walls.
even if it wasn't on network TV, it was just like
as all the stuff DX did, they never even went that far.
No, and it's the
They're
reason
doing this for the
why-
shock value.
Yeah, they do it for shock value. The problem is it's not shocking when you do it all the time. That's the problem. Like WWE, they might have tried something like that, probably used different wordage in the Attitude Era, but they would have done it one time, and then they
they did.
Yeah.
We were at that Raw where I would say they were as close to that, and that was the Vince Loves Cox.
Yeah, that's they
episode.
said Vince Loves Cox, and then they showed a picture.
But they
of
put a rooster so that
so
way
they-
the network executives didn't shit their pants.
They found creative
They got
ways to
away
get
with
around
it.
it. They didn't
Yes.
just read off a piece of paper.
This wasn't
talking
creative
about
at all.
jizz. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the problem is, like, okay, WWE did that in 2006, but then they moved on and went on to their regular programming. AEW, they constantly are doing these lowbrow, shock value, edgy jokes, like weekly, sometimes more than once on the same show. And it's like, you can't just keep... It's the same thing with them having bleeding in every match. If you do it too much, it loses its value. And not only do fans expect it all the time now, it's like it's not going to boost your ratings. It's not going to boost your visibility. Like, people are just expecting it. It's not shocking people. It's not exciting people anymore. And the whole Tony Storm thing, I think, is just getting played out.
I agree.
They took it away for a little bit. They kind of gave it a little dimension with having her have amnesia and, like, forget who she was. But now, like, they brought her back to her normal character, and it's just back to the same bullshit that, like, they're not moving forward. They're just kind of staying stagnant and maybe moving a step back every week, it seems like.
Yes.
They gave her the title again. Like, there's just nothing interesting going on anymore with her.
I mean, in all honesty, we are giving this more airtime than it deserves.
Absolutely, but I like to shit on the dumb shit that they do. So we're going to talk about it for a little bit. Also, in the news and headlines here, good old Sting, WWE Hall of Famer Sting, was in the headlines this week. He is not allowed to induct his best friend Lex Luger into the WWE Hall of Fame. So Lex Luger, at his request, so when WWE contacts a wrestler and says, "Hey, would you give us the honor of inducting you into the Hall of Fame?" Most wrestlers will take that offer. Some haven't. There's some that have declined. But when you take that offer, WWE doesn't really throw their weight around. They're like, "Hey, who would you like to induct you?" They let you pick this stuff. And so, like we saw last year, Paul Heyman decided to have Roman Reigns induct him. Fans might not have understood it. They might have wanted somebody else, but it's not about the fans in this situation. It's about what the person getting inducted wants. So there's been many times where fans are like, let's say Triple H should induct Shawn Michaels or blah, 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 blah. And then Shawn Michaels goes and picks somebody else because that's the person that means more to them than anybody else, and that's who they want inducting them. So,
and that has different experiences because, like the whole Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns thing, Roman Reigns had very little speaking time, and Paul Heyman dominated that section, right? Now with Lex Luger, I don't know. Is Lex Luger in the shape? And I'm sure you get to this in a minute. Lex Luger isn't exactly the pillar of physical health at the moment.
No.
He's on a road to recovery. If you've seen some of the stuff he's done with DDP,
yes,
he's actually in a little bit better shape than he was several years ago. But I don't know if Lex Luger is going to be ready to be talking for 20 minutes about his illustrious career. So this is one of the few times having somebody induct him is more important than other inductees, right?
Obviously, like, we can talk about the Lex Luger stuff a little bit. Obviously, with Lex, there's probably a lot of stuff he's not going to want to talk about in his Hall of Fame speech because he's had a very controversial career. Very successful, but he's had a lot of controversies. A lot of people blame him for the death of Miss Elizabeth. He's had a lot of drug scandals. He's had a life. The guy's a paraplegic now. And it was kind of like a freak accident from what I understand. I understand it like something to do with him working out, and he did something to his body, and he did something involving his back, and like he literally cannot walk. And he's on the DDP. He's working with DDP. They're on the road to recovery. DDP has gotten him to stand up out of his wheelchair and take a few steps. I don't think we're going to see him walk at the Hall of Fame. He's probably going to be in a wheelchair. But his career has had ups and downs. He's worked in almost every company. He's one of those last of the generation of the wrestlers that like would work territories and stuff like that. We don't have that anymore. But he's kind of the last of that bunch. And historically known, him and Sting are like best friends. Sting actually helped him get a second chance at life by introducing him to religion, introducing him to God. And they are both very religious men now. And it didn't shock me that he wanted Sting to induct him in the Hall of Fame. Now, I believe his request was Sting and DDP. So there is kind of a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, DDP is able to induct him. It's just Sting is not. And that's not WWE's fault. Because I'm sure that they would have had no problem having Sting induct him into the Hall of Fame. Sting is already part of the WWE family, being a Hall of Famer himself. The issue is, even though Sting is retired from wrestling, he is still under an AEW contract. And Tiny Tony Khan, of course, has to have a tantrum and is not allowing him to induct his best friend into the Hall of Fame. Now, if I was in Tony Khan's shoes, this would not be a decision I'd make. Pretty much what I would have done in that situation, I'd be like, hey, that sounds great. I'm very happy for you. Here's some guidelines that I want you to follow. And I'd be like, please don't say disparaging things about the company. Keep it professional. and make sure that like he's not appearing on like SmackDown or something. Like if they show him at WrestleMania or whatever, it is what it is. And I'd even try to work something out. It was like, hey, if Sting appears at the Hall of Fame, when you show like the little graphic that pops up, can you say AEW superstar Sting or something like that? I try to work it out so that they could promote AEW a little bit, which sometimes WWE will do things like that. They do it with TNA. Well, now they're like part ownership of TNA or something, but
I'm guessing this means Sting can't even be seen at WrestleMania events at all.
No, not on television. So that doesn't necessarily mean that Sting won't be at WrestleMania.
Backstage,
I'm sure he'll be there to support
an appearance.
Lex.
Yeah,
but yes, he's going to have to make very sure
can't be in the crowd.
Yeah, he will not be on camera, because even though Sting has literally nothing to lose, like what are they going to do? Fire him? He doesn't even wrestle anymore.
Yeah.
It's just a whole. I don't know what his contract looks like. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot to be an ambassador. Yeah. Not the way that I would have wanted this to go. Like it's just. He's not really sticking it to WWE in this. He's sticking it to Lex Luger. He's sticking it to Sting, and like that's not how you form relationships with talent. Like I understand Sting is probably very happy with the money that he's making in AEW, but now you've purposely put a rift between you and Sting a little bit, because you're not allowing him to be there for his best friend, not in the capacity that his best friend was asking him to be there for him. And yeah, kind of a dick move. Even back in the day, if you remember, Ric Flair was in TNA, and the WWE decided they wanted to induct the Four Horsemen in the Hall of Fame. And TNA allowed Ric Flair to appear. Ric Flair was an active TNA wrestler at that time, and they made a deal. They said, we will let you have Ric Flair. We're excited that he's going to be on your show, but can you give us Christian Cage? Now, Christian Cage didn't wrestle a match or anything in TNA, but he did appear on their show, and I think he like announced who their first Hall of Fame inductee was going to be. And I actually think that, conveniently enough, I think it was Sting who was the first to enter the TNA Hall of Fame, and they had Christian announce it on TNA television. That was the deal that they came with WWE.
What's wrong with that? Right.
Yeah, I'm sure TNA would have loved to be like, hey, can you have John Cena come and do a match? But you got to negotiate. You can't just expect gold when you're giving somebody bronze. You know what I mean? Yeah. It just shows you that Tony Khan's not a good businessman. He's just a kid that got a bunch of money, and he's playing with his toys, and he doesn't want to share them.
And he's butthurt when things don't go his way.
Yep. And because I guarantee you, if this was the opposite, if AEW did a Hall of Fame and they wanted a WWE superstar to appear, they would be throwing a tantrum if WWE didn't allow a superstar to appear on their show.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. But speaking of WWE, we got one last headline that I want to touch here. And this is coming from Nick Khan, the president of the WWE right now. He had some comments about WWE and what they don't listen from the internet audience. So let me click this link real quick and let's get into this, because I want to read the quote exactly. So his quote was, so he appeared on I think he appeared on a panel at some sort of conference at the 2025 NAB show in Las Vegas. It looks like some sort of convention, and maybe he was speaking at it. And let me get the quote here. Here is his quote that he spoke about the internet WWE fans and the internet audience, and if WWE listens to them. So what he says is this: a small percentage of voices who have big microphone or big megaphones in front of them. A small percentage of voices who have big microphone or megaphone in front of them. It's a mistake to respond to your business based off of that. You got to base it off your gut and the results. For us, we not only program for 50 states, we try to program for the world, especially with the Netflix deal. What do people like? People like drama. People like conflict. They like to see conflicts resolved one way or the other. As Triple H mentioned, in our business, you got to knock each other out in a 20 by 20 ring. People like that too. People like that too. For us, we want to. I don't know if he spoke like in broken English or something, or if like whoever wrote this or like got a copy of this just like very, very odd. We want to basically they want to appeal to everybody. As Paul mentioned, multi-generational viewing. Almost 50% of the audience who attend our live events come with a child. That's important to us. Number one, it's family-friendly viewing. Number two, that's our next generation of viewers. I would assume, as you guys graciously give us a lot of head nods in this Q&A, that a lot of you are wrestling fans. I would assume it started, for most of you, when you were young. And you stayed with it. And maybe you checked out for a couple of years as a teenager because other things became of interest to you, but then you checked back in. We want to be there for the people for their lifetimes. We want to, and we think we've done a decent job at doing that. So that's his comments there when it came to WWE and listening to the internet comments, I guess. And without actually saying it, because he kind of like played a little bit of word baseball here. Without actually saying it, he's kind of saying that like they can't listen to internet negativity, internet opinions, because they are focused on what their vision is, and their vision is to appeal to everybody. And to be honest with you, this has been WWE's vision for well over a decade now. Like,
absolutely.
People don't
Maybe
like
AEW
it
should take note.
Yeah, people don't like it that WWE went PG, but on a financial standpoint, this is like the best decision they ever made. And you have to give credit where credit's due, because like, yes, WWE does appeal to children, but they also appeal to adults. They also appeal to teenagers. They also appeal to the elderly sometimes. Like, they're trying to make a show that appeals to everybody. They're not trying to fit into one niche section. They're trying to just cover everything. They're trying to be Disney.
Yes, but they did. I think they branched out a little bit. You know, when COVID kind of ended 2022-ish, I think they got a little bit more of an edge back. We're not going to see the Attitude Era, and I don't expect that. But
yeah, I think there was a point where they were going a little bit too far to the
PG.
left. They were going too PG.
Yes.
And I think now they're trying to balance it out a little bit better.
Yeah. And I was one of those people that semi-checked out. I'm too hardcore. I watched it every week anyway. Yep. But I'll tell you what, from 2010 to 2020, I was a little bit checked out. That was too PG. There was nothing of substance.
There's been a couple times where I've checked
comedic acts and everything.
And when I say check out, like, I wouldn't say I stopped watching, but I might not have like caught every show every week. I might have like, just read about the results or something. Like, I've always like stayed invested in WWE, but there's times where I watch every single show every week, and I have to. I'm like excited to see them. And there's other times like, oh yeah, Raw's on tonight. All right, I'll check it out. And to be honest with you, there's been a couple shows recently that I just kind of like, you know what? This isn't exactly must-see television for me. I'll watch it, but like, it's not something that I'm like waiting at my TV at 8 o'clock to turn it on. You know what I mean? So like the biggest thing, without him actually just outright saying it, he's basically acknowledging that yes, they do see the online criticism, and they just have to keep on forging on their own path. You know what I mean? They can't just pay attention to everybody, let's say, complaining that Naomi isn't getting a title shot. Because if they tried to listen to everybody, the second that they appeal to those people, these other people would come and they want their superstar to get a title, or they want this to happen, or this to happen, or this person to come back. They have to kind of have their vision, and they have to stick to it. And I think that's basically what they try to do.
Well, and it's not much different than any other episodic show, right?
Yeah.
Those that watched Game of Thrones, or those that watched White Lotus and all those famous TV shows, do you think anybody there sat down and said, all right, let's see what the fans are writing on Twitter and alter the entire storyline based on what the fans say? Yeah. No.
It's weird.
Maybe that's factoring in a small percentage,
yeah,
but they're not rewriting their entire storyline because a percentage of fans are pissed off.
And it's
or want
weird
a
that
certain
it's weird
thing.
that wrestling fans in particular think that they
Have control.
the problem is, like, there are times that, like, the internet has altered the course of WWE, and you can blame that on the Yes Movement and stuff like that. And I think that kind of indicated to them, like, hey, we can change it. So now they try to do it all the time. Like, they did it last year with the Cody We Want Cody thing.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, not going to go on a tangent, I think WWE kind of played people with that. I think they wanted people to do the We Want Cody thing. They were handing out signs at the shows for it.
Yeah.
Like, they orchestrated that, and the fans just kind of were marks and ate it up.
Yeah.
Sometimes the WWE does play with people like that, but I'm kind of on his side here. You can't listen to the internet because the internet is very toxic, and they like to speak on negativity. And you're giving people a microphone, as he said, that probably don't really deserve a microphone, even though, like, Twitter is a big platform and you got, you know, Joe Schmo with negative 50 followers thinking that he's the most important person in the world, talking about the John Cena storyline. You know what I mean? You can't necessarily take his opinion with a grain of salt. So I kind of agree what he's saying here. Some people were a little butthurt that he basically was saying that they don't listen to the internet fans. He's not degrading the internet fans. He's not saying they're not important. He's just saying, like, WWE pays attention to the paying audience. They pay attention to how people react in the crowds, who is selling merchandise, who is putting money in their pockets, as any business would. I know people don't like to hear that. You know, it's the same type of shit with Nintendo when you try to talk about Nintendo being one of the most popular video game companies, and people are all mad because Nintendo likes to sue people and stuff like that. WWE is the same way. They are about what makes the most money. You know, Joe Hendry, he's internet, he's viral, he has that song. Is he best in the ring? Is he selling merch? Not as much. And that's probably why you don't see Joe Hendry in the main event at WrestleMania. Because he's a viral thing, and his star is probably fading right now. And WWE has people that make a lot of money that are paid to make those decisions, and I'm going to trust their vision more than the internet, unfortunately. That's it for the wrestling news and headlines. But let's get into the SmackDown discussion here now. Now, I have a little bit more to talk about with the SmackDown thing. The first thing of note with the start of SmackDown here is it seems that things are in limbo with Randy Orton at WrestleMania. It seems like they're not giving us a clear answer to who his opponent's going to be, or if he's even going to have a match. So I wrote that. I said things seem to be in limbo for Randy at WrestleMania, and then I said maybe something to do with the new bloodline. So it looks like they might be moving into like a Solo Sikoa thing. This is going to be another match that, like, and that, to no fault of WWE, obviously they didn't know that Kevin Owens was going to get injured. And in my opinion, it's a little too late to them to build like a WrestleMania worthy story out of this.
I mean, they really can't, but it's Randy Orton, and I think at this point, they just say
Randy Orton,
the timing stunk, and sorry, Randy, you have no match and nothing at WrestleMania. I don't think is good either.
No, Randy needs to be at WrestleMania. To be completely honest with you, if I was the booker in this situation, I wouldn't add another match. I would add Randy to a match. In my brain, like the obvious choice would be like the Intercontinental title thing. Add him as a fifth man in that match.
I thought the other way. I thought about the LA Knight Jacob Fatu.
No, God.
Why not?
Because it's LA Knight,
Why not?
dude. It's LA Knight. I would have liked to see Jacob Fatu versus Randy Orton. That could have been a good match, but unfortunately,
well, I'm saying make that a triple
tied.
threat. Make it a triple threat.
I don't think LA Knight deserves that.
Ouch.
I'm hoping. So here's the problem with doing that. I think the path that they're going on, and this is kind of a WrestleMania prediction, I guess, but we're getting close to when we're doing them anyway. I think the path they're going on is Jacob Fatu winning that damn title at WrestleMania.
Yes,
and if
I
you
agree.
add Randy to that match, it's kind of like, do you want Randy to lose? Like, Randy's obviously not going to take a pin in that situation.
Right.
It's a little not the right situation for him to lose to Jacob Fatu yet.
No, but he could have just been the odd man out and LA Knight take the pin.
Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe WWE's going to surprise us. I can't tell you that I'm looking forward to a Solo and Orton match, though. I kind of
options are a little limited.
I was hoping that it would have been a Cody Rhodes thing where they don't tell us, and then the day of WrestleMania, something gets announced. And you know what? Last week I kind of hinted that, maybe they should bring somebody up from NXT. This would be a situation where WWE calls up a little fairy boy over at AEW. I think it would be an epic moment if they had a surprise opponent and it ended up being like fucking Kenny Omega. If they could work something out, WWE contacts AEW, is like, listen, we're in a position here. This is potentially could start a working relationship with us. What would it take to get Kenny Omega?
I think the issue is probably not enough time to train for the match together.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's
and
the issue.
I think another
you only
issue
had
2 weeks.
2 weeks to prep.
Here's what another issue with that would be. I could see little baby Tony Khan being like, "Oh, but Kenny Omega has to win," or something like that.
Yeah,
and the WWE would not agree to something like that. No way. So they are kind of limited. I'm trying to think, is there anybody that's like kind of off, like on the back burner that they could like have?
Oh, I know of a person, and I don't understand why they haven't brought him back. Sami Zayn.
No, God, no. I don't. I mean, it kind of would make. They could make it make sense with a story
better than
line.
Solo Sikoa. Better than Solo Sikoa.
Sammy is just stale right now. That wouldn't be a good.
I agree,
thing.
he's stale, but I think that he is ready for a character change, in my opinion. But you can't do that if he's sitting at home. I know that he had some religious obligations with the month of March. March is now over.
Yeah. At this point, if I was Triple H, I'd look at the NXT roster, and I'd be like, who on this roster right now do I feel will be a breakout star?
I only know one person.
You have to take a chance.
In my opinion.
If I were him, I'd pick somebody like Ricky Starks. He hasn't been there for a while yet, but I think even if the match isn't that great, I think just getting him there, surprising the fans, obviously Ricky take the loss. I think just having that moment would make the fans happy.
I would have said Ethan Page.
Him too. I was thinking more of like a fan favorite. He's kind of a heel.
Yeah, true.
But I think he would also get a big reaction though if he came out. Because there isn't anybody like really on the TNA roster other than maybe that guy Moose that would kind of be like a shocking thing. Joe Hendry, I mean, the fans would pop for the song, but then the match would happen and it would suck. I think somebody like Ethan Page or Ricky Saints would be kind of like a cool moment, and then have them put on the best match they could. Obviously, have Orton win and just have it kind of be a throwaway type thing. It would kind of be one of those WrestleMania moments. I think that would be a cool option, but it does look like they're moving in Solo Sikoa, and I'm gonna take a Sikoa.
Yeah.
If I have to use the restroom twice during WrestleMania, that would be the next one. Hope it ends up surprising us, so that'd be cool. So SmackDown, starting off with that, so that with that altercation and everything, it announced that the main event of SmackDown is going to be LA Knight and Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga. And that ended up being the main event. I'm not a big fan of like tag match main events, but just to clarify that it does look like they're moving in the story that it's going to be Solo taking on Orton. Moving on to the next bit of SmackDown news, the women's tag match
The gauntlet, yeah, that was a snooze fest.
Yeah, and the end there with Piper Niven, it looks like people lost their place or something.
Yes.
There's some big botches going on, and
Not well thought, put together at
it
all.
got to the point where Piper pretty much like went out to the floor and did reset, and then for no reason like came back on the apron just to have Bayley kick her off again. They definitely lost track of what the hell they were supposed to be doing.
The whole thing seemed like somebody WWE was like, "Oh shit, the women's tag team championships. What the hell do we do? It's WrestleMania in 2 weeks."
And also, oh shit, Bayley's not at WrestleMania. We need to figure out a way.
How do we get these other
there.
people on TV who haven't been on TV in 3 months?
It's like, oh, let's have
Shayna
Bayley,
Baszler.
Let's have Bayley challenge the Bird Lady for the Intercontinental Women's title.
Well, you know where
all
that's going.
Yeah,
you know where all that's going is Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, probably one of them turning on the other.
Honestly, hopefully it's a Bayley heel turn.
Yeah, she's better as a heel. I have to.
Yeah, so I don't see them. I don't see this being a long-term thing. I think this is just a way to get Bayley on the WrestleMania card. Congratulations to the Bayley fans. I'm not one of them. I would not have cared if she missed out on it. Happy for her though. She gets to be on WrestleMania. We will have our predictions for what's going to happen with that in a little bit here. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying like this is it's been a long time since I haven't looked forward to a WrestleMania. And this one the matches are not doing it for me. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, like what I wrote here, lack any real chemistry. And at the end of this segment, Drew McIntyre tore a necklace off of Damian Priest, and I said this is recycled CM Punk and bracelet storyline. Like they're not even trying here.
Drew's star has fallen from last year.
Well, I knew that his star was going to fall when they put him in a feud with Damian Priest. I knew this was going to happen. But like they have writers that are making probably 6 figures a year, and this is what they come up with: recycle a storyline that was 8 months ago. Like, I can understand if they recycled something from a few years ago, but like this hasn't even been a year, and they're recycling the same storyline, and people just aren't interested in Drew and Damian Priest. It's unfortunate, you know. This is not where I think Drew should be at WrestleMania. I think Drew is capable of much more. I think Drew, like, I can't even tell you where I would have put Drew because I'd have to like rearrange the entire WrestleMania card. Basically, what I would have done though, I would have had Drew have a match with somebody like Jacob Fatu. I think that would have been a good match. Like Damian Priest, sorry bud, but you might not have been on the WrestleMania card this year. I understand why they're putting him on there. He's a former champion now, but I don't see the point in this because Priest isn't, now that he's out of the Judgment Day, he's not selling merch. Like there isn't any real connection to why they are forcing him on the card here.
I agree.
And it's just kind of unfortunate for Drew because it is bringing his star power down. They might be able to surprise us though. I heard this is going to be a street fight. So
I think the match will be good quality, but I just think that there's too many other.
They're trying to make it.
Value.
They're trying to make it a blood feud like him and CM Punk, and it's just not working. It's not working at all. It's not working at all. And to be honest, if they wanted to do like a blood feud, it should have been Drew and LA Knight because those two obviously have some real heat with each other. Would have been a much more interesting thing there. Back on the SmackDown here, we had another Rey Fenix win. This is his second match now, and the one note that I have to make, nothing wrong with his match. I thought it was good. Very odd timing for his debut. Why did they not debut him the SmackDown after WrestleMania? Why would they debut him 2 weeks before WrestleMania?
I'm wondering if because that's when Malachi Black is going to debut.
Maybe. But it's like, he's not going to be on the WrestleMania card, so why debut him? right now.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's just odd to me because it's kind of like taking away some of his pizzazz.
At least he's fitting in nicely. So
yeah.
oddly enough, him and Penta. So it's just a weird thing that I noticed. Him and Penta skipped the NXT line.
Yes.
And are fitting in nicely with the roster. Jade Cargill did not have a similar experience.
Yeah, Jade Cargill wasn't. She wasn't like professionally wrestling trained that great.
Yeah.
Penta and Phoenix, they were trained. You know, they're
well, they had careers prior to AEW, right?
Jade, I think she had minimal training before she went to AEW, and then AEW was in the best place to learn wrestling.
Right.
So, like, WWE made the right choice to have her in the Performance Center. It's just kind of obviously Jade's an athlete, but for whatever reason, she's just not catching on to the wrestling thing as well. But
I agree.
WWE is like Walt Disney, and they can work their magic and make her look good regardless. And they've done that. They've done a pretty good job with that for the most part, in my opinion. There have been a couple things,
of China, right?
Yes, China
really,
was kind of the same way.
China couldn't really cut a promo by herself. She always had to be with somebody.
And she wasn't. I mean, I'm not going to try to diss the deceased, but China wasn't that great in the ring. She had a great ring presence. She was huge.
Yes.
She was marketable. She wasn't that great in the ring. Jade probably has more athletic ability than China did.
I agree, yeah.
But China was just so unique at the time.
Yeah.
You know, people remember that. But Jade, she has the athletic ability. It's just wrestling isn't the easiest thing in the world, you know, and maybe she's a little clumsy. You know, it looks a little awkward, but they're doing the best they can. I don't have many complaints about the Jade stuff that they've been doing. Somewhat looking forward to her match with Naomi. I'm not really into how they're portraying Naomi as a heel. I'm actually kind of hoping that Bianca still gets herself involved in that match at WrestleMania somehow. I think that would add a little layer to it. But we will see.
I would say that they're actually changing Naomi's character a little bit this week. Do you see they're making a little bit more tweaks?
Did she take the caution tape off yet, or is that still
off?
On
but it's off. But she still says, you know, beware of caution or whatever little phrases.
Proceed with caution to the bathroom. So,
but they're tweaking her character a little bit to make it not seem so like it's a costume.
Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes.
I honestly think she feels it's like Halloween every day she goes to work. Like she always has to dress up something stupid. Chelsea Green, Selena Vega. This like SmackDown just had a lot of miscommunication because this match clearly was not supposed to end on a count out, but it looks like
Chelsea Green lost track of what the hell was happening.
Accidentally stayed out of the ring too long, and the ref had to call it. And there was like a lot of pregnancy pauses there because they didn't know what the fuck to do. So they just kind of had to roll with it, and Chelsea kind of threw a tantrum, and they announced Selena as the winner. Not sure where they're going moving forward here.
They pivoted to make it look like Chelsea Green, you know, didn't know what was going on, and she was too busy throwing a tantrum, and that's why she lost.
Yeah, the commentators kind of tried to switch it and be like, oh, she was so frustrated about her, what are they calling her two people, the security or something? She was frustrated that her security couldn't be here, and that's why she got distracted outside of the ring. But they were trying to make it make sense, but just some weird communication problems there. Next thing up here, I said promo from Cody. I wish Cena would have been more available for this feud because we just kind of had Cody going off in this is pretty much like the story time with Cody segment. He likes to go on these long tangents about the history.
I wish The Rock was available for any of this.
The Rock too.
Oh well.
It's just like what could have happened? What could have been if things went, I guess, the way they were planned. Not sure what happened with The Rock. I heard rumors that there were some backstage disagreements or something. Cena, obviously, they probably knew what his schedule was going to look like, and maybe they were just doing a wait-and-see thing to see what they could come up with. Not saying the promo was bad. It's just kind of we as fans are waiting for the story to evolve, and these promos are just kind of like talking in circles. We know the history. We know how you feel about it. We want to see something happen. And nothing's happening when you're just talking in the ring. Tiffany and Charlotte Flair. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. I said the stuff is fine. I would have actually had them do another promo after last week. So they kind of, Tiffany had a match with Roxanne Perez, of all people. Another person they've kind of had premiere on the main roster before WrestleMania. I thought the match was really good. There were some people complaining online. It's like, Roxanne Perez's first SmackDown match and they had her lose. I was like, what the fuck do you want to happen? Tiffany's the champion. What, did you want her to win the belt? Like, obviously, yes, her first match was against Tiffany Stratton, the WWE Women's Champion.
It was a strong showing, but it was a very strong showing.
Like,
it
you
wasn't
can't
like
expect
a
her to win
5-minute
the
and
belt.
done. Yeah,
like,
I had no issue with that
just
match.
because somebody loses doesn't mean they get jobbed out. Doesn't mean that, like, the WWE's given up on them. Like, you put them in a featured match. In my opinion, that was the main event of SmackDown.
Yeah,
I thought the match was really good.
She's not even officially on the main roster yet, is she?
I don't think they officially announced it, but she's been on the pay-per-view. She's been on SmackDown now. She's been on Raw a few times. Like, there hasn't been an official announcement, but there was never an official one with Tiffany either. But I guess eventually maybe they'll do a thing where one of the brands signs her. Maybe at the draft, they'll actually sign her to a main show. But yeah, then Charlotte kind of attacked Tiffany. Like I said, my opinion, I would have had Tiffany and Charlotte do another promo because last week's, even though it went off the rails, it was talked about a lot. It had fans' interest. I would have capitalized on that by having them do another one. And I would have had that as a headline before the show, be like, Tiffany and Charlotte in the ring face-to-face again. And people would have tuned in because they wanted to see, the people are under the assumption that this is a personal feud. And they would have wanted to see that. And then the tag match, Solo and Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton and LA Knight. I said kind of lame ending to SmackDown in my opinion. I'm just not a big tag team guy in my opinion. And
plus that SmackDown felt like let's get everybody on the show before WrestleMania SmackDown. And you're going to see more of that this week. Especially with the
SmackDown, SmackDown is going to be a bit different because do they have, like, how are they doing the Hall of Fame? I know it's not going to be, I don't think it's at the arena of SmackDown, but is it still going to happen after SmackDown?
It's happening after SmackDown. Yeah. And you're going to love this.
You said it was like
at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Eastern time because they're running at 10 p.m. local time in Las Vegas. 2 hours after SmackDown is over.
Holy shit, staying on a shingle. I'll stay up and watch. Like I told you guys last week, I'll
watch it Saturday.
I took off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. But that's my WrestleMania vacation. So
I don't know if I'll be able to make it till 3 in the morning. It's going to be at least 2 hours.
Probably more. It probably will be more, dude.
I'll fall asleep during it. I might as well just watch it Saturday.
What will probably happen is I'll start watching it, and then I'll probably fall asleep and have to catch up with the rest the next day.
Then might as well just do it the next day. Then just do it the next day.
No. If I'm awake, I'll watch it. If I fall asleep before it, then it is what it is.
But you, you know what's going to happen. You will not watch the whole thing continuously. I guarantee you won't be able to.
No, there's certain things
I want
to see, but
then why bother? Just wait.
Just in case somehow I do
10 hours.
Just in case I do stay
What are the
odds?
What are the odds?
If it's interesting enough, I will. I'll stay up and watch.
Okay. We'll see.
If it's interesting enough.
I guarantee you won't be able to make it through.
All right, so let's go into the WrestleMania predictions here to cap off this episode of Unexpected Wrestling. I'm going to look at the match card right now. Let's start with WrestleMania Saturday, obviously. So it looks like, okay, the first match I have on the list here, and we're going to go from bottom to top, at least on my list, because I don't want to.
Well,
I don't want to start with main event predictions right away.
Before we do any of this, are we holding ourselves accountable for any of these? Like, are we going to write this down, and whoever either wins or loses, anything at stake?
Let's keep track. Let's keep track of who's.
How are we to keep each other honest?
We're going to say it on the stream here. We're going to say who we think is winning.
Okay.
But what should the punishment be for the loser?
So it's a punishment if you lose, not something to gain if you win. Is that how we're doing this?
No, I mean, if you wanted to do like a money bet, I'd probably consider it. But I think we should do something entertaining for the podcast.
I agree with you. I agree.
So,
the podcast on Sunday or Monday or later down the line?
The punishment would happen on Monday. because we want to
Okay.
make sure that all of WrestleMania happens. And then Monday, since we're doing a
Oh,
special
that's true. Yeah,
podcast, we can do the punishment on the Monday show. So what should the punishment be? What options do we have? Obviously, I like my mind immediately goes to some sort of hot or disgusting food of some sort or drink. That's where my head goes.
Maybe, but we're not in the same room on Monday, so I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I have a different other extreme,
All
but
right.
you're not gonna like it.
What's your idea?
The loser has to do the podcast with their shirt off. You didn't say anything, so this sounds like you're willing to...
I know I'd be willing to do it. I'm a little worried if you would end up losing because, unfortunately, years and years ago, I've seen you without your shirt on. And
yeah, I'm not talking pants.
Yeah,
just shirt off.
Just shirt.
Yeah.
Dude, I think we might get copyright struck if I had my shirt off because they might think that it's like nudity.
What are you shit? What are you shit?
they might think I got titties out or something, dude.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy!
I don't know. That does make me want to like make sure that I get this right because I definitely don't want to do that. I'd be willing to do it. One thing I'll say that I do have. And I'd be willing to do this, is I do have the hot chip challenge. The single chip, I have two.
Well, so when I
two
see
packages
you
of them.
this weekend, you have to give me one of them.
Yep.
That's the only way.
Yeah. And with these, like, these are so hot that the packages have a glove to wear when you actually hold the chip because they don't want it getting on your skin. Like, these are that hot.
Yeah. But the only issue with that is if they're that hot, I mean, you'd have to do it at the end of the podcast because chances are you can't speak afterwards, right?
Yes.
It's gonna be
That would be the main event of that podcast.
The main event our podcast.
But I'll say this right now: if we agree to that, the agreements will be like you take the chip and you are allowed to drink milkshake. Yes, we're not going to do anything like you can't drink anything for an hour. You will be able to chase it down. You will be able to chase it down.
What happens if there's a tie? Is there a possibility of a tie?
So what we'll do for the possibility of a tie is the John Cena Cody Rhodes match. We will make a prediction on how long that match will be because there's no way we'll tie with that.
Okay.
So like if I say 29 minutes, you say 32.
Okay.
And then we'll just have to get the official match time off the end.
Because there's one thing to consider with these predictions, right? What if we're both wrong on them, right? And there's gonna be some that we could both be wrong.
I mean,
things that are triple
like
threat,
I don't think
end in no DQ.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have to worry about it because I doubt we're gonna pick.
Not too many of them are gonna happen.
I doubt we're gonna pick the same winners for each match. So I think some matches we will think the same person's gonna win, but I think we're gonna have. Some
I mean like.
With
the Rhea Ripley Bianca bad example. Let's say
we can say who gets pinned also.
Bianca and then Io wins. We both lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could happen.
It could, but I think we're going to be fine. As a tiebreaker, we'll just guess the match time of the main event.
All right,
of
fair
Cena
enough.
and Cody, and that will bring
if
it comes down to it. All right,
let's get this done.
So yeah. We'll remember these predictions. We'll have video evidence of them. So, night one, the first match, we're going to do a prediction on Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Mr. Chunk, I'm going to let you make your prediction first.
This is just a winner. We're not predicting how they win, just the winner.
Who gets to win? Who is, their hand is raised as the winner, yes.
I'm going to say Naomi.
Okay. Mr. Chonk says Naomi. We're not starting out on a good foot here, and you saying that makes me want to change mine, but I want to keep this authentic because I was picking Naomi too. So we have to keep it official. We are both picking Naomi. We might be both.
I mean, some of these are obvious, right? I mean,
yeah, I think Naomi has more to get with winning, and hopefully it will come to her. evolving her heel character. That's why I think
Yeah.
that she is going to win that one.
I'll ask you this, and it's not part of the official,
Yeah.
bet. Shenanigans or no shenanigans?
I think and hope that Bianca Belair will assist.
That would qualify
Naomi.
as shenanigans. Yes.
That she will assist in Naomi winning that
Okay.
in one way, shape, or form.
I agree. I don't know if Bianca will intentionally assist, but I do think shenanigans.
Oh no, I think at this point she intentionally will. My
Okay.
opinion. My opinion. Okay, next match. So that one's pretty much a wash for us because we both predicted the same thing.
You know what I'm going to do? Well, while you do this, I'm going to do a spreadsheet because we're going to forget. I don't want to...
Yeah, do that,
We'll
and
go
then
back to
just
this
have it
again.
on the Google.
Give me a second.
The Google
Yeah.
thing, so we both have access to it when it comes to it. But that one's kind of a wash because we both predict the same thing. I don't think we're going to predict that on each of them.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, next match on the card: Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Mr. Chunk, who do you think is going to win that match?
Why are the matches that we're not as interested in the most difficult to predict?
Because you don't care. That's why you haven't thought
No,
about it.
I guess I do care, but it's there's two options to go. Do I predict based on who I want to win, or do I predict thinking like a WWE writer?
At this
You
point,
know?
since we have a punishment on the line, you think of how you think WWE will book it. You have to put your emotions aside and go with how you think they will book it.
It's tough because I can't tell if this match culminates at WrestleMania or sets the stage for more at WrestleMania. It's a little unclear. Because the build-up has been a little strange.
Yep.
And... I want to say... Well, hold on for a second. In order to keep this fair, I went first and gave my first prediction on the first match.
All right.
You
wanna
technically
switch it
should
up?
go
Okay.
every other. We gotta
Now,
keep it
just
fair.
remember, if we have the same prediction, don't change yours. Like, we have to keep this honest. So my prediction, Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is getting the win.
Okay.
Because I
was actually thinking-
believe it's a mass versus mass match.
Is it really?
I think that's what they said. I could be wrong, but regardless, I still think Rey Mysterio is winning.
Okay.
I think I heard it was going to be mask versus mask. But it's not officially, that is not the official match. So I could have just been hearing bullshit.
Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna go with El Grande Americano.
Do you think he's going to win? Is that your final answer, Mr. Chunk?
It is my final answer on that, but I am honestly torn. They can go so many ways because that match doesn't have a ton at stake. It's
I know.
It's almost comedic. It's
Yep.
almost back to the Vince McMahon era of doing some.
That's
comedic
why
shit,
I made the prediction
and it
that I
kind
did.
of doesn't. Yeah.
Well, first off, in case they announce it as a mask versus mask, then I pretty much feel I have a sure win there. And second, I feel it'll be a funny WrestleMania moment if Rey Mysterio unmasked him and he kind of does a Kurt Angle thing and acts off.
No, you know what I would. So here's my official prediction, but it makes no sense. Just to keep the storyline moving, and this doesn't count toward the list.
Yeah.
We find out only in WrestleMania that El Grande Americano isn't Chad Gable.
Could be.
They do a swap for WrestleMania, and it's one of the Creed brothers or something, and then they continue it, and back on Raw, it is Chad Gable. But they throw you for the WrestleMania where, they try to unmask him, and then Chad Gable comes out.
Yeah.
And they're like, we all thought it was Chad Gable.
Or they do the Kurt Angle thing.
Even though it
where,
really is him.
Yeah.
But
the Kurt
not for
Angle thing where,
WrestleMania.
another El Grande Americano's hiding under the ring and they swap or something. There's a lot of funny things they could do in this match. I think even if it is a mask versus mask thing, they take off his mask. He has another one underneath.
Mask. 5 masks.
Yeah. But I am picking Ray to win that one. You're picking Chad Gable or El Grande Americano. Yeah.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
Or-
that's who's underneath.
Whatever. Next match on Saturday, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. I have a feeling we are both in agreement at who we think is winning that. Mr. Chunk, you can give your prediction first.
Yeah, I'm writing it down, but yes, I should go first. So it is it's gonna be Jacob Fatu.
Yep, I absolutely think so. What the hell is that? Was that your computer or something?
No.
I just heard like a noise. Yeah, so Jacob Fatu, I do believe. Oh, we just got a we have a follow on Twitch. That's what that noise was. Nice. The follower is Stalking You. Interesting. A little scary, actually. Missy Kaboom, thank you for coming in and hanging.
Wait, that's
out.
their literal name is Stalking You?
Stalking You /_. Hey, if you're viewing the stream, thank you for stalking us. Interesting.
Stalking YOU or the letter U?
The letter U.
So Stalking University, is that where you go to like learn about how to do stuff?
The Tim Ratcliffe University there.
Okay.
Not doxing anybody. Tim Ratcliffe actually does not exist on this planet. May he rest in peace. So yeah, I think we're both in agreement that Jacob Fatu is going to be winning that match.
Okay.
Missy,
Okay,
thank you for stopping in and hanging out. Next match on the card: War Raiders versus the New Day for the WWE Tag Team Championships. I guess I have to predict first here.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
actually going to go with the New Day. I think the New Day need this win.
Yes.
I think that would tie them with the Bloodline for most tag team title reigns.
War Raiders' reign has been blah. It has not been good.
And I think it's going to help them with their heel run because it's been getting a little stale, and I think this will help them kind of evolve with their new personalities a little bit.
So can we change up the game just a little bit, because I have a bad feeling that we're going to predict a lot of the same winners.
Well, so far we have one that we didn't. So
for this match, I think that we should base the prediction slightly differently.
Okay.
And I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Big E or no Big E? Involvement in some fashion.
No Big E.
I say Big E.
Okay.
In
so,
some fashion.
Let's say
it could just be he shows up.
So we're gonna use
in the
our
crowd.
Yeah,
something. Anything.
We're gonna use our predictions. We both are picking the New Day, right?
Yeah, that could be a tiebreaker if it needs to be.
Like, basically, what I'm saying is we put 2 points on the line here. One being the winner, which we both picked the same, so that's washes that. And another one being the Big E. I do not see him. I don't think he is ring shape ready.
I didn't say physicality.
Yeah, but I don't think
appearance.
I don't.
Appearance.
Unless you count the appearance being on the pre-show, no.
No, I would not.
So let's clarify. The appearance has to be
during
him
the match.
During the match.
During the match.
Even on commentary. I'll give that
commentary,
to you. If he shows up on commentary
crowd,
during the match, I'll even give that to you. And
at the entrance ramp.
Yeah.
Video package.
So if he is on the screen during this match in any way, shape, or form, you will get a point.
Okay.
On to the next match here. We have Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. I'm going with Tiffany time. I'm not going against Tiffany here. I love Charlotte Flair. I love Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany needs this win. Although Charlotte does need the win too. But I think it's hard for me to put my final vote here. Oh shit, I think you were supposed to go first, but whatever.
No, I have the same answer.
Okay.
I just don't see how they would give.
I'm a little torn. Like I'm kind of. I could see Charlotte winning if they want to extend this feud longer. I just can't go against Tiffany. I can't do it. I want her to win. I'm putting my emotions a little involved here, and I want Tiffany to win.
Is there a tiebreaker? Is there something unique about this match? That
before we get into that,
put on the line?
The real OTC over on Twitch says, "Acknowledge me with a finger pointing to the sky." We are going to be doing that prediction on that match coming up very, very soon.
Oh, the real OTC. Oh,
yeah,
wow,
I think that's actually Roman Reigns.
It might
Roman
be.
Reigns, thank you. And he sent us a follow, too. Holy
Oh.
shit stain on a shingle. Thank you so much, Roman Reigns, for following us over on Twitch. Did not know that you used the Twitch platform. Thank you so much. No, we have the tiebreaker with the New Day stuff.
Okay.
Let's just keep
Maybe
this.
there's enough other
If
tiebreakers.
we're both
Okay.
agreeing with Tiffany, it's fine. Because we've made that tiebreaker, so now that could kind of...
Yeah. All right.
I can only give spoilers.
Maybe there'll be another match. Maybe there'll be another match that requires a tiebreaker.
So if we're both picking Stephanie, let's go with that. World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther versus Jey Uso. You're going first on this one, buddy.
Yeah. I am torn.
Oh, me too. I'm so torn. I'm so invested in this that I just don't know who to pick.
I didn't say I'm torn because I'm invested in it. I'm torn. And I know we didn't talk about this during the main part of the show. I'm torn because I don't know what they're gonna do after WrestleMania.
Yeah, you think?
I am going to pick Jey Uso, and this doesn't count as part of the official prediction. I see a heel turn for him.
Interesting.
That's
see
when I said
Jey turning heel. Wow.
Maybe not the day after.
Yeah.
But I see signs of something, and I think Jimmy Uso will be involved in this match.
Interesting.
In some fashion.
What if Jimmy turns heel?
We've
already seen that, though. We saw that last year.
I don't think the impact matters as much, and I don't think anybody cares all that much.
So we might have some insider information here, but the real OTC over on Twitch says Jey is going to win that one after that promo. So the real OTC says that he believes that Jey Uso will win, and then the real OTC is also saying that Jimmy was wearing a No Yeet shirt, or was that Gunther wearing a No Yeet shirt? Interesting thing to notice there. If there was a No Yeet shirt.
Real OTC, okay. Maybe we're gonna get somebody George Bush 2004 to turn this stream as well.
Hey, my hands are here. I am not typing anything. Not that I was typing anything back then either.
So who are you picking now? The look on your face. Priceless.
So I have to I can't use my emotions. I have to go with what I think WWE is going to do. I have to go with Jey. I think they're trying to get this WrestleMania moment, and I think they're going with Jey.
Do you want to add a tiebreaker or no? Do you want to add any extra?
Sure. Jimmy Uso. You think he's going to be involved or not?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. We're going to agree on that too, because we're going to agree on that too. So the tiebreaker.
Well, then tiebreaker not worth it. Yeah. It's not.
So let's just keep it like that. We got plenty of more matches to go through. So so these are just official matches here. So the triple threat main event now: Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. I think we may have differing opinions on this one. I think I have to go first here, don't I?
I think we're going to have different winners for this.
Yeah. So, my opinion, I'm going to go with Real OTC. Also, put in chat who you think will be winning this match.
I wonder who they're going to pick.
My opinion, CM Punk. CM Punk for the win with Paul Heyman's help. I think that Paul Heyman and CM Punk will do a heel turn at WrestleMania Night 1.
Okay. I'm going to put my money on a different one because we've been so aligned.
Okay.
Seth Rollins.
All right.
With Paul Heyman.
With Paul
heel
Heyman.
Turn.
Interesting. Real OTC says he thinks CM Punk will win because he took away my wise man. That's what he says over on Twitch. Yeah. So, Seth Rollins, how do you think that is going to play out? You think that Paul Heyman is going with the he owes Rollins a favor? Or do you think this is there's something deeper that this has been planned for even longer than that.
Possibly deeper.
Interesting.
It would be a complete swerve out of left field.
Not the swerve from AEW, though, right?
No.
Okay,
this
good.
is my
So
dark
we're
horse
not gonna
prediction.
have swerve coming in there.
No,
Okay,
this is my dark horse prediction of the whole thing.
Okay.
Because Seth is known for that. Seth is known for the architect.
Yeah, he does.
Coming out of left field and not expecting him to do what you expect him to do.
Expect the unexpected.
And he's been the felt like the third wheel in this match. And for him to pull out a win, and I don't think it'll be decisive. I think it'll be sneaky. It'll be a sneaky win.
Yeah, I don't see like a clean win happening here. There's going to be shenanigans. The only way I see a clean win is if somebody gets distracted by something.
I mean, Paul Heyman is definitely going to be playing a huge role in this match.
Yeah, he's going to be like
willingly or
I think
unwillingly.
he's going to be running around the entire ring. I think it's going to start out where he's supporting one person. It's going to pivot where it seems like he's supporting the other guy. I think he's going to play a big role in this match.
Actually, you know what? I almost want to take my guess back, in a way. You know who the real winner of this match is? Paul Heyman. It's
no matter what,
played.
he's going to end up with the winner. He's going to end up leaving with the winner, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I almost had a dumbass guess, but it's not a guess I want to put on paper.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar making an appearance.
Hey, that would be unpredictable. Let's say this. If Brock Lesnar makes an appearance during this triple threat match, you get 3 points.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, you get 3 points, because I'm saying he's not. If you're saying he is, we will give you 3 points, which would almost probably guarantee you a win, unless you just really shit the bed on some of these other predictions. You will get 3 points if Brock Lesnar shows up. It has to be during this match. I will even give you, he doesn't have to touch anybody. He just has to show up. But he has to be there in person. It can't be like a picture. It can't be like a video on a screen. He has to be there in person.
Okay.
Even if like they pan the crowd and he's just like sitting in the crowd, then
I mean, I don't think he's gonna show up, but that would be a hell of a thing.
Yeah. Before we move on to night 2, we have the real OTC says, "I wish I could smash them, stack them, and pin them all, but well, someone will get hit with something, I guess. What if Goldberg shows up?"
Not during that match.
Yeah, I mean, Goldberg would, he'd have to get out of his walker, and I don't know. I don't know.
If
Real OTC,
anything,
I don't know.
Could he show up at Gunther because there's something there? But I don't think they would waste the Jey Uso WrestleMania moment with Goldberg coming out.
Yeah.
No.
Real OTC.
Maybe for
says,
SummerSlam.
Yeah. Also says, or The Rock. I don't think The Rock would show up during that match. Not that match. He's not involved.
No.
Let's move on to night 2. So those are our night 1 predictions. Night 2, starting out, AJ Styles and Logan Paul. This is probably the hardest one for me to try to predict here.
Yeah, because you know what? In all honesty, neither of them need the win. They're both established.
Neither of them need the loss either. They
I
both, to be honest, they both
I don't
kind
think it matters.
Yeah. The match itself is kind of a nothing burger. There's nothing.
Here's the weird. There's nothing at stake.
Yeah. It's
but
just bragging rights.
It will be a fantastic match. That's the thing.
Yes, as long as they're both healthy,
bring it in
no
the ring.
injuries. Yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah, I think you got to go first this time.
I am going to say Logan Paul.
Yeah, I'm saying the same thing. I was hoping you would go on a limb and say AJ, but no, we're both going with Logan.
I mean, AJ could win it, but you know, his job is to put over the younger talent, and even though Logan Paul isn't the full-time star, that's the other thing.
Yeah. The real OTC says, by the way, I'm Kevin from Austria. Well, thank you for coming and hanging out with us, Kevin.
Really? I didn't know Roman Reigns had an alternate name.
Hey, you know, Roman is internationally known on the microphone, so...
Yeah, he's roaming Reigns, roaming around.
Roaming the country. Roaming the world, actually, not just the country.
Yeah,
we're both going with Logan there, so that's kind of a shit in the bed there. That prediction won't matter, but that is who we're predicting. The Sin City Street Fight. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. For some odd reason, I have a feeling we are both going to predict the same with this one, too.
Well, you're up first.
Yeah. Drew. Drew. The real OTC said Priest wins, but I'm going with Drew.
You know what? I just to make sure we have different votes, I'm gonna put Priest because I am torn. This is also one of those matches
when you say
where
you're torn, you don't mean Natalie Imbruglia torn.
No,
You mean you're torn like
okay.
mentally.
I'm torn for the opposite reason of the AJ Styles versus Logan Paul match. You know why? They both need the win and they both can't take the loss.
Yes. I think Drew would get hurt more if he took the loss. It would hurt Drew's career more if he took the loss.
I don't know.
But I don't think that you're not setting yourself up for failure though, because Priest, I think, does have the emotional baggage with him, especially after the attack on SmackDown. I think he does have I think come WrestleMania he will have the fans behind him because he.
I know, but I still think Damian shouldn't. I mean, Damian, a loss will hurt him a little bit.
Oh yeah,
it'll put him down the card.
But I think it would hurt Drew more.
Oh no, it's tough. Yeah. It's a tough one to
Well,
predict.
I'm picking Drew. I'm picking Drew.
I picked Damian. I picked Damian.
And Real OTC says Drew is old, laugh out loud, and WWE screws him.
So is Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest is in his 40s.
Yeah, I think Drew's pretty close, if not 40 himself.
All right, so that is a differing opinion on that one. Next one up, Intercontinental Championship Fatal 4-Way, Braun Breaker versus Dominic Mysterio versus Penta versus Finn Balor.
All right, hold on for a second. Let me write that down. Who's going first? Because I actually think we'll have different predictions.
Your turn. Your turn to go first.
Okay. Watch it be the same.
What's that?
Finn Balor.
No, I'm going with Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker. And I think, just a little side note, I think Dominic is going to play a role in Finn not getting that win. I think we're going to see the official split of the Judgment Day.
See, I think the end result's the same, that we see the split. But I think I see Finn Balor getting the win and just splitting, right? Something happening where he just doesn't bring it back the Judgment Day. But I think Finn Balor could use the win. Yeah. And in all honesty, Braun Breaker doesn't need the title to be Braun Breaker. The title doesn't elevate him that much. Yeah. In fact, just him being him is all you need.
Yeah. All right.
And I think Finn Balor could really use the win.
Yeah. You're going with Finn.
Even from a writing perspective.
Yep.
Otherwise, Finn Balor gets lost in the shuffle again. And in all honesty, let's say he does lose. Yeah. A Finn Balor versus Dom match isn't even a premium live event match, in my opinion. I'm sorry. Yeah. It's a nice Raw main event, but it's not like SummerSlam worthy.
Who takes the pinfall?
I mean, if Finn Balor's winning, not Braun Breaker. Dom.
Yep. My opinion, I think Penta is going to take the pinfall. I think Braun is going to pin Penta, and I think Dominic and Finn are going to be distracted with each other.
So, this is my weird prediction. I chose Finn, and I think an accident happens, and he finds himself in a position to pin Dom, not of his own accord, right? Somebody else knocks out Dom, everybody else is knocked out.
He takes
Finn is left. Finn is left standing, last man standing. Dom is there.
Takes the easy way out.
Takes the easy way out.
Yep. That would probably be the perfect scenario, because that way Braun doesn't get pinned. Finn obviously turns his back on Dom. Penta, let's say
strong
Penta,
still.
Yeah, Braun and Penta, let's say Penta jumps out of the ring and lands on Braun, and that's what keeps them out of the ring for when Finn gets the pin. The real
or
OTC,
they're just all dazed, and Finn pins Dom and doesn't even realize it.
Yeah,
and then he's all in like a tizzy and gets the title and has no idea how the hell it happened. And Dom, they get into a pushing match afterwards.
Yeah. The real OTC says Breaker could go for the WWE World Title. And then he says, I guess that Dom will be the man down.
Braun Breaker is great, not quite yet for
Well,
him.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. Next match on the card is the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria.
And I think we're both gonna say the same.
Yeah,
thing
Liv
this
and
one.
Raquel, like
Yeah.
Bailey and Lyra. Just that's not it. I think Bailey's turning heel, and smell you later.
I don't even want to put that as a tiebreaker because I say the same thing.
One thing I hope that Raquel like rips out Bailey's BBL during the match and makes it a little more interesting. Yeah, don't care, honestly.
Plus, for the obvious reason, and you know, WWE's done this before, but not in the last 10 or 15 years. Double champion, they don't.
Yeah,
That's not a thing they intentionally do. Only if there's a scramble.
yeah.
And Lyra's got the Intercontinental, right? So, women's title, if I remember correctly, right? So
Yes.
she's not going to also be tag team champion. I don't see it.
Yep, I agree with you there. Next match on the card. This one I think we may have some differing opinions on. WWE Women's World Championship Triple Threat. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair.
Who's going first?
Trying to think. I think it is your turn to go first since we both pretty much just agreed on the tag team match.
Bianca Belair.
Okay.
Let me guess.
Unfortunately, that is also my pick. So my thing, Real OTC says Ripley wins. My thing is here.
She's been at the top for a while.
Well, Bianca is undefeated at WrestleMania. And
Right.
I don't think she's going to pin Rhea. I definitely don't see that happening.
Unfortunately, Io Sky takes the
Io is
loss
going to take
here.
the pin. Bianca gets it. And I think Bianca is going to be turning heel. Maybe not at WrestleMania, but I think she's going to be turning heel. Maybe she's going to turn heel the night before this match.
You never
when
know.
helping Naomi.
I think you
and then
said
maybe
this
Naomi
yourself.
will help her win this match.
Yeah. I think you said this yourself a few weeks ago. I think this is going to be the year of heel turns.
Could be. They need to change things up. They really do.
Yes, I agree.
And the Real OTC says, well, I can also see that happen. Ding. You made a good point. Real OTC, make sure you follow us on YouTube also. We are live streaming on YouTube right now.
Yes.
Don't
And
just stay on
RedTube
Twitch.
as well.
Follow us everywhere. Follow us on TikTok also. We got TikTok.
You missed that last one.
What?
I said follow us on RedTube as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say OnlyFans. We don't have RedTube or
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans. We do have a Twitter though. Follow us on Twitter. Yeah, so you are going with Bianca. I'm going with Bianca. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to agree there.
And tiebreaker's the same tiebreaker. We think it ends the same way, so there's no point in even adding one.
Only thing we could add is, do you think Naomi's going to interfere?
Well, I think so too. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to be able
in
to do
some
a tiebreaker
fashion
here.
Maybe
all right,
indirectly.
So here's where we're going to do a pick for this match and a tiebreaker, and I think we'll have enough there that we're pretty much guaranteed not to have a tie.
For this
Undisputed WWE Championship match. Cody Rhodes, the champion, versus John Cena. All right. I actually think it's
something.
I think it's my turn to go first. What
no, we missed something. Where's the New Day versus? No, we have that here.
You're right. You're right.
No, we have it. We have it. I'm getting.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting
no,
a list,
yeah,
we night 1 has 7 matches, and night 2, because of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Because we only have 6 on night 2.
We have a
I'm
message from YouTuber The Real Kev says, "Hey, Real OTC here." So he followed us over on YouTube. Thank you so much. All right. I think it's my turn to make the prediction here first. I've been sticking to this since before the Royal Rumble. John Cena will win at WrestleMania. Not only will he win the title. My prediction isn't completely right because I said he was going to turn heel at WrestleMania. He ended up turning heel before WrestleMania. But my prediction.
So we're going to need a tiebreaker on this match. Yeah,
the tiebreaker is going to be we're going to guess how long the match will be.
Exact over under. How do you want to do it?
I mean, we're going to say a time, and then it'll be whoever is closest without going over.
Price is Right style.
Yes, Price is Right style.
Okay.
So you're picking John Cena also. Is that what you're saying?
This is, yes. This is, I hate to be nitpicky.
Yeah.
Bell to bell only?
The official match time. We will look that up online because we're not going to have
Is that bell to bell? Any pre-match?
Yes, it is bell to bell.
Shenanigans do not count. Yeah.
But we are going with the official match time. We're not going to time it ourselves.
Okay,
So bell to bell,
because I think there'll be pre-match shenanigans of some kind.
Yeah, but this is
before
bell
the
to
bell
bell
rings.
Yeah,
bell to bell.
So if we're both predicting, and I have to do mine first, I am going to go with 25 minutes.
And there's no stipulation, there's no pre-match anything.
Nope,
right?
This is bell to bell official match time. We will look it up on the internet. I don't know if WWE posts official match times, but there are websites that do.
Yeah, there are.
I'll make sure it's a legit website.
You're at 25 minutes. Oh, boy.
25. You can do a Price is Right style. You can do Price is Right style and do like 24 minutes or something.
No, Price is Right would be 1 minute.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, if you think
because as long as
you think I went over, yeah, you have to be under and closest.
Yeah. But if it's without going over, 1 minute would satisfy that.
Yeah, that would give you a big gap.
If it was 24 minutes and 59 seconds and I guessed 1 minute, I would win.
Yep.
That's the danger of Price is Right style arrangement here.
I'm good with my prediction now. The only I'm not even going to say it because then you'll probably do it. So
no, the fact that you went first makes this difficult because 25 is a fucking great number.
I'm not going to say anything because I know how you could do something to. Never mind.
No, because I could go 25 minutes and 1 second if I think it's going to be 26 minutes.
And totally fuck me over. And if we're both wrong and it's like under that, then we'll just go with who's closest the other way.
That's why I think it actually makes more sense to be closest in either direction.
Without going over. Unless we both go over, then we go with the other direction.
All right, let me put down your
Mine is 25.
And
yes, you can if you just want to add a second, you can if you want to. I'm not going to make a stipulation that it has to be full minutes. You can just add.
No, but see, there's a disadvantage there because if I do that and the match is 23 minutes, you win. The tiebreaker.
Yeah, if the match goes under both of us, then yes, it would be.
Then you would win. You would win because I went over you.
Yep.
That is a danger of that. Yeah, I'm going to do the 25 minutes and 1 second.
Okay. So, that's your official prediction. The one thing that I didn't want to say anything because I wasn't going to help you with your prediction. The one thing you have to factor in is that John Cena is not like a full-time performer. So there is a chance that they might have to cut it shorter than normal. They might have to do a 20-minute match, bell to bell.
I thought about that. But
because like normally I would assume a main event WrestleMania would be a 30-minute match. That's why I said 25. I wanted to give myself a little bit of wiggle room there.
So I thought about that. And I have a feeling this might turn out to be a little bit of like the last time The Rock has wrestled. There's a lot of resting involved, which drags.
Now, if you remember
time.
The tag match that The Rock did last year, that was an hour long. But then again, it was also involving 4 people, and like there was breaks and stuff.
That's what I think of like John Cena. Like this is a match where it's going to be rest holds, so John Cena can catch his breath, just like we've seen in The Rock's matches.
Yeah.
You know,
he's not in
this is hiatus or
best
ring
shape, so
they might
so
have
I
actually think
differently.
I actually think that it could be longer, not because of actual in-ring action, just because they're going to slow the pace down.
Yep. And it's the last
And
match.
I think
they got nothing.
And there'll be shenanigans outside the ring. They're gonna go outside, and there's gonna be,
The Rock.
Maybe not. I mean, but I think that there'll be shenanigans. The classic John Cena, boo, boo, and they waste like 3 minutes doing that. They could really slow that down.
Yeah. Well,
I'm doing 25.01 minutes.
Okay. So you are 1 second. So as long as if it's lower than 25 minutes, I win. If it's anywhere above, the only way.
Actually, if it's exactly 25, you also win.
Yeah, I win if it's exactly 25. But
I'll even give you 3 points.
Very difficult.
If it's exactly 25, just like my Dark Horse Brock Lesnar thing, you get 3 points.
Yeah,
for that
I
one.
was debating if we should do a 3-point if The Rock shows up or not, but no, let's just keep it with the time.
I think the odds are high that he does show up.
So that's why I'm saying, like, let's just keep
capacity.
Let's keep it as the. We probably, in my opinion, I don't think we're going to have to do the time thing. I think that we have enough disagreements that I think we're not going to have to worry about a tiebreaker.
And in all honesty, let me ask you this question. It's not an official prediction. I think we both agree The Rock shows up, correct?
Yes.
Would you agree that he shows up?
Yes.
During or after the match?
During the match. And I think he'll have
involves himself.
Not his whole entrance, but I think that they'll play his entrance music and everything.
Okay, let me word it this way. His involvement cost Cody the match? I'm a little torn on that. I've been thinking
I don't know
about
if it's
going
to cost him the match, but it will affect the match, yes.
Because I think he gets involved, but it's after the match. Physically after the match.
I disagree.
I think
he's going to get involved during the match. I think there's a possibility he gets involved during the match, and then John Cena, to solidify his heel role, pins him after The Rock takes him out. And it's kind of like showing that John Cena's taking the cowardly way to win the title.
Maybe. I was just assuming that Cody Rhodes beat down.
Yeah. I think that might definitely happen after the match, yeah. But that won't be official bell time.
Agree. 100% agree.
Yep.
No one comes out to help Cody at all before or after?
I think The Rock comes out. He does like his grand entrance. And I think somebody will come out and like kind of do something with The Rock.
Make an attempt at all.
Yeah, not sure. Possibly.
What? I was going to ask you. You spoiled it. I was going to ask you a bonus question. And a bonus question would be, does Stone Cold get involved?
If he does, that would be the match. I think the Stone Cold would get involved with The Rock. I think that's the only way it would make sense.
I don't think so. Well, you know what? It only works one way. If Stone Cold gets involved, it's after the match is over.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for him to get involved during the match and Cody
beat down and all of a sudden the glass shatters.
Because it looks stupid. It looks stupid if Stone Cold gets involved during and Cody still loses the match. It's dumb, right? Definitely. It would have to be after, if it happens at all.
So there you go, guys.
I don't know. I don't know if it happens.
That is our official predictions for WrestleMania, the real OTC. The last thing here, the question is, if Cena wins, who will take that belt away and when and where from him? I think if Cena wins, he will have that belt through SummerSlam at the very least.
Yes.
I think we're going to have the summer of heel Cena.
Yes.
I think, and then WrestleMania
I've touched
will be
on this.
The cap off of that.
He's going to lose it in the fall. Somewhere October, November.
I think he might hold it through SummerSlam and then lose it in the fall, possibly before. I think probably definitely before Survivor Series, because I think they need a month or so to get him back
to turn him face again,
so that he can retire as a face.
Yes.
Who do you?
They don't want to be the last match to just do the turn. That just seems so cheap.
So Real OTC is asking who we think would take the belt back from Cena. I think it will be Cody. I think Cody will win it back. I think they'll have a rematch and then Cody gets the belt back. My opinion.
Then it's a little early to tell. That a lot can happen, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but I don't know.
I think that would complete the passing of the torch when Cena graciously takes the loss to Cody and basically announces Cody as the new flag bearer of the WWE. I think that will happen at whatever.
It depends.
Whatever.
It
show.
depends on whether John Cena's match to lose the title is as a heel or as a face.
I think he loses the title as a heel.
Okay.
He has to leave his face. So yes, Real OTC says he has to leave his face. I totally.
Well, he obviously leaves the company.
100%.
I'm talking about his last
I
title match.
I was just reading the
a
comment
month
from
or
the
so
Real
before.
OTC.
I don't know if that last title match, he's a heel in that match or slowly already a face in that match. It's a little unclear.
No.
They
Not
surprised
sure.
us so much with his heel
Yeah.
turn already that it's a little unpredictable the rest of his character
Yeah.
arc. Besides the end that we all know is going to be obvious.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going with that. And those are our WrestleMania predictions. Mr. Chonk has copied those down on a spreadsheet.
They are in
Are
a
you-
spreadsheet, and you know who edited them. They're in the root of our directory, and there is change control on it. So
Real OTC is asking, are you guys going to stream WrestleMania? I want to see your reactions. We are not going to be streaming while WrestleMania is happening.
I
Someday
think it's a
we
little bit of a copyright situation.
Well, no, there's people that will stream where like we're on camera, but we're not showing the show.
Not showing the actual.
We're just watching it and reacting. Someday we might do something like that, but it's not going to be at this WrestleMania. But what we are doing is Sunday we will be having a special stream in the studio in Minty Retro Game Studios, and we're going to be playing some WWE 2K25. And we're going to be discussing Night 1's WrestleMania, and we'll kind of go over our predictions for that and who won what there. And then Monday,
WCW versus NWO Revenge is what we're playing.
Well, we'll play whatever we feel like playing, but and then Monday we will be recapping all of WrestleMania, and we're going to do a special stream on Monday. Now the Sunday and Monday streams are going to be at different times, obviously. We're not going to be doing those at 7 p.m. I would say the Sunday stream...
4 o'clock, 3 o'clock?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like kind of figure out when WrestleMania starts, and we're going to have to
7.
So we're going to have a little gap between the shows.
I would imagine you don't care about the pre-show, and if we overlap the pre-show...
Yeah, if we overlap the pre-show a little bit, that's fine. So...
I would say 4. For Sunday.
Yeah, I would at least...
We average 2 hours for the podcast.
Yeah, so, we'll try to give you guys 2 hours of entertainment. And since we're both going to be in the same room, maybe we'll have some fun things planned with eating some nasty jelly beans or something. And we'll be playing...
You seem to not do so well with that.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of predictions in the past.
I don't seem to have problems with those jelly beans.
Yeah, and the jelly beans, we have hot and we have disgusting ones. Real OTC says, good job on the stream. I may as well subscribe upcoming week. Nice. If you send that subscription over.
Thank you.
We really, really appreciate that. We just started doing the podcast in January, and we're trying to build an audience. We're trying to do it organically. We're not joining any of these, like, I don't know what you want to call it, groups where they push out our show or anything. We're trying to do it, like, feet to the ground. We're trying to do an organic growth here. We're not paying for subs. We're not trying to cheat and do it the easy way.
Classic boots to asses way.
Yeah. So it's been a slow build. We've been making clips. We're trying to get viral. We've been getting some clips that are getting a couple thousand views. We're trying to work on getting a larger audience. We just got to keep going for it. We got to keep going for it. It's going to be a slow build, but I'm hoping eventually when people do see us and they see our unique personalities and our antics, that they like what they see, and someday we'll have a much larger audience, and you can say that, hey, you were here from the very beginning. So
just like Fred Durst, you got to keep rolling.
Because we did it all for the Nookie. So
okay. No, Snooki. We did it for Snooki.
We did it for Snooki. We got a story about Snooki. Me and Mr. Chunk were actually sat about a row behind her at a WrestleMania in the past. Maybe we'll share that story on Sunday. But until then, we are going to get out of here. This time, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. There's our outro music. We're doing the Fandango dance. And we will see you guys WrestleMania Sunday, new start time, later in the afternoon, probably around 4, I'd say. We're going to play some WWE 2K25. We're going to have some fun. We might even try to reenact some of the WrestleMania matches on WWE 2K25. So that should be fun. We're looking forward to WrestleMania. We are pumped. We are ready to go. We can't wait to talk to you guys about it. Until then, have a good night, and we will